Are we there?
Go.
Are we? We just have to wait for people to ping in. We're experiencing problems with Business Suite again. So we've restarted. I told you the most amazing story, but you missed the punchline. Is it working? Are people turning up this time? Right, hello. Welcome to Thursday. It's raining out there. I was going to swear then. It's raining out there. It's that persistent rain, precipitation. I had spent a whole minute telling you about what I was going to do for the weekend, which didn't involve very much other than sitting in my pyjamas and maybe going in the hot tub. So, Thursday, few things. Have a look on the job lots. We've put a load of stuff now, the end of bolts, onto job lots, and a lot went on clearance yesterday. We had some lovely fabrics in. In fact, Alex has just answered the door to more fabric, which is the Lewis and Irene stuff that's due in. So can't wait to have a look at that. We really should do a what's in the box from here, so Sarah can see what's in the box from there. So I was to tell you that. Also, you know these cut and press boards that Sarah and I use, the June Taylor ones, these big ones. We've had little ones in. Now we know a lot of you don't have a lot of space to be doing these, you know, to use one of the big ones. So we've got the little ones in. They are quite expensive. They're $35.99, but believe me, they are so worth it. So you've got the cut board on one side and the ironing board on the other. And I have to say, I just bought another big mat and it's still in the box. I haven't taken it out because I've started using this one. So they really are worth it. We've only got 6 in stock, but we can get more if you're all loving them. So you can rotary cutter on there and iron on the white side. Okay, so what are we going to do today? Who are we talking to? Just to make sure there's people there.
We've got hellos from Heather and Carolyn, Karen.
Hi. If you ordered some of your mystery boxes, some of you will have had them, but I've packed up a load more today. So you'll be getting those in the post over the weekend. Now, we are making, I'm going to pinch Alex's phone because he's using mine. We're making a tidy. It's tidy, this is. A phone tidy. Okay. I've left the pocket quite big because you could put a charger in it. And if you put a button there, you could actually loop that over a button. I meant to sew a button on and I forgot. You could loop the button over, the hook over, and that could then go into your going away bag, and you'd have the charger and your wire in there, and that could just sit in your bag, and then when you get to the hotel you could just hang that over the plug. Make sure that it's away from the electrical bit, you know, hang it over the plug and put your phone in there. At least then you'll know where it is. They've made a lot of these on the internet and they've used like a curtain ring, you know, like you get on the poles, the pole curtains. You could use that because they sort of go round and clip into the fabric around. But I didn't have one of those, and most of us don't have one of those hanging around. So we tried to come up with something that would be easier to do. So we're going to do that, okay? Right, so you need some wadding. You could use fusible wadding. I think probably if I was to do it, I might put a bit of interfacing on there as well, because it is quite givey, but really you're not doing anything that requires it to be robust, really. You could put packing tape along the top, but you'd be then sewing the binding into that. I suppose you could do it, and if you're going to sew the binding by hand. But anyway, I digress. You need a piece for this greeny piece here. You need one that is 4.5 by 10.5 for the front. Okay. You need a bit that goes on the back, and you'll see why it's bigger. Now, I reckon if you have a 6 by 12, you could probably go smaller. It needs to be bigger than the front because you're going to push it through, and then we trim it off afterwards. Okay, and then a pocket. Now, if you have the pocket at 10 by 5.5, all you have to do then is fold it in half. Okay, fold it in half, and you're going to sew it on that way. It means that you don't have to put another piece on the back, but if you have a small piece of fabric that you really love, you could do that. You could interface it as well. I haven't, but if you want it stiffer, and then you want binding. Okay, so off we go. So we're going to take our front piece, which is the 4.5 by 10.5. Okay, and we're going to put it on the wadding. And we're just going to chop that out like this. And we are going to... So, anybody there giving us pearls of wisdom or anything?
Pamela says, hello, what a lovely and useful project.
Yes, I've been looking at it for a while. I think we were going to do it. We were going to do it as a class, and then nobody booked on it, so it meant that I never got round to doing it. Now I'm just putting a little bit of spray starch on this, spray glue. Not that it needs it. Look, it's gone all the way through there. Never mind, we're going to cut most of that off. Okay, so what have I done with the ruler? There we are. So what I did was I measured the top. Okay, so it's 4.5, which makes it 2.25. Yes, 2.25. 1, 2 1/4. That's your halfway. Now I also want to, I think that it needed to come down a bit more. I reckon it needs to come down about 1 inch, because this is a bit close. Sorry, Al. This is a bit close to my binding. So I want to bring the hole a little bit further down on this one. So I'm going to measure 1 inch down like this. Okay. And now I'm going to cover it all with this, which always seems like a waste of time marking anything. Okay, so I've taken my back piece, I've made a fold in it to find my my central point, and I'm going to just overlap it a bit there. Okay, and I need to work out the inch. Okay, so I know that that's 1 inch down. So if I, it's not really straight, is it? So am I not going in straight? It won't matter. It won't matter. Just draw it across. Okay. We're going to cut so much off it won't matter at all. I have my circles from Andy. Okay, these come from the I've got 1/2 inch circles, right from quite small up to 11 inch. So I'm going to take my 3-inch, and I'm going to line up my middle fold with one of the lines on it, and I'm going to draw around it. Okay. Ooh, I got a sticky finger. It's like a sticky wicket. Okay. So I've drawn around the circle, and we are going to pin it in place. It doesn't need a lot of pins because the static seems to hold it quite well anyway. But we're going to pin it like this, and then we're going to take it over to the machine, and I'm going to sew all the way around that circle. Any questions so far?
Jean said she got her mystery box today.
Ah,
Or this morning.
did you like it? It was all specially picked by moi, mostly. Right, I'm just going to put Sarah's machine back together. I've had a look at the bobbin, and I'm hoping there's enough on the bobbin, otherwise we're going rogue and using pink probably. Right, I am changing the foot back to the one with the perspex because that's the one I like to use. So we're going to, let's move that out of the way. We're just going to follow the line all the way round, okay? Well, we will if I can get the pedal right. Yeah. Do you know, she's like the power station under here. That many bits of wire. Okay, so I haven't done a back stitch because I'm just going to sew over it afterwards. So any comments there while I'm going around here, because my masculine trait is I don't multitask.
Vanessa says, just joined. I'm curious to know what you're making.
We are making a phone charger holder, so that you can keep it all tidy, and it can also be used to carry it around if you travel. Right, it's a pretty good circle, isn't it? It's a bit over there. So now we need to cut out this circle. So I'm going to make a hole like that so that I can get my skizzers in. And we're going to go close to the stitches without going through it. Okay. So what's the weather like with all you lot? Have you got plans for your wet weekend? Because I don't think it's going to be nice in many places at all. We're expecting stormy weather at the Forest of Dean. So I can see a lot of sitting in playing games and watching films myself. Right, so I've cut round there, and I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to just trim this carefully. Can't see any smaller scissors, can you, Al? Just going to take, make sure I don't cut the fabric. I'm just going to trim off the, if you can't, don't worry about it. Just going to take the fluff down a little bit, if you can. I don't think it makes a huge difference, but in fact I'm worried I'm going to cut the fabric, so I'm not going to do it at home. I would have got my little snippy scissors in there, and you could, if you're feeling brave, go round and just put a few nicks going round that means that it will give a little better as you're pushing things through. Now this is like a reverse applique, and I used this method when we were doing the ruler hanger. Oh, I like hanging things, obviously, but the ruler hanger, the bit that you put the stick through, that would have worked. Could have put a stick through it. That would have been different. Anyway, we're going to take the back piece now, and we're going to shove that into the hole like this, all the way round. I'm going to turn it round to the back, and I'm just going to pull it through, and you want to then make sure that your seams are like that, and then turn it to the front and do your finger roll from the front. Okay, this is a really quick project. Now I took a milk bottle, you know, the big milk cartons, the plastic ones that you buy in the supermarkets. We have the big one. Anyway, I cut out a circle. So the idea was I would cut out the bigger circle that would sit around it to give it more stability. But once I'd cut it out, it was sort of very flimsy. So I don't know whether if you put in something around the hole, maybe interfacing, or find an easy plastic to cut through and put it around so that the hole becomes more sturdy. Right, I'm now going to top stitch around that hole. Okay, now I will move my needle to the left and then run the edge of the see-through bit on my foot along there, which is an easier guide for me as I'm going round. So we're going to move the foot to the left. This is how I do all my zips as well. I'm not a big one for changing feet, and I always think, well, if you've inherited a sewing machine and you haven't got all the feet, it's nice to know a different way of doing things, isn't it? So you want to make sure this is all flat on the back. Let's stick the iron on there. So any questions there, Han?
Let me have a look.
Right. Make sure it's flat on there, flat there.
Jean says, I'm going to the Forest of Dean for a few weeks holiday in June.
You know that's only an hour away from us, don't you? Hour and a half. We're just down the motorway. You might as well. You've come all that way from Girvan, so you might as well. Jean Baker, yes?
I think so. Yeah.
So you might as well come see us as well. No, I haven't. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them... I can put edge of foot. If I move my needle to the left, I can put edge of foot. Going all the way round, which is easier to keep your eye on, isn't it? I've forgotten to, but you could make your stitch longer as well here. Top stitching is quite good if you increase your stitch. I haven't. I forgot. I tend to do about 10 stitches and then remember I've got to change it. So we're just going around carefully. Has anybody come up with any ideas for a wet weekend? What they're going to do? It's a good weekend for sitting in, staying warm, think we've got a barbecue booked. Must remember to pack an umbrella for Phil to do the cooking outside. The agreement is Sarah and Phil cook, Dave and I do the dishes, because they're so much better at cooking than I am. I'm one of those, I'm not can't cook, won't cook, I'm can cook, don't want to cook. Okay, so we've gone all the way round. That's pretty even, that's not too bad. It will do, pig, it will do. I suppose if you left the fluff and everything in there, you could add extra fluff around there, which would give it more thicker stability it is. Right, I'm just going to chop those off because I lock stitched and went over the last lot over the beginning. Okay, now with the pocket, you'll notice the pocket is cut wider, so we're going to line all the raw edges up on this. In fact, I'm going to trim it now, because yesterday I trimmed it down and trimmed off my stitches off. So I'm going to cut now, trim it. You can see that it has, I'm not cutting off a huge amount from the back piece, but it's better to have it too big. You aren't going to get any bald patches then. I mean, there are hundreds, literally hundreds of different patterns out there for this, but a lot of them meant you had to make the holes. I mean, in order to be able to bag it out, they'd made the hole in the front and a hole in the back and then sewn them together, and I just thought, well, that's too much trouble, that is. So we're doing it this way. Okay, pocket. You're going to put your raw edges together, okay, and you're going to pin them on like, oh, put some over here. Pin them there and there, and then you're going to pin the other side at the raw edge as well. And I know you've got a lump in the middle, but we're going to fold that like that. Now you could make that fold, I've given it an inch. You could get away with ½ an inch, I think. As you can see, I didn't have that bigger piece of fabric, so the ½ inch would probably work on this one. And you're going to fold it down. Just give it a like that. A quick squirt with the old starch and fold it back like that. And stick your iron on it from that end like that. So we're going to fold it like that, and then we're going to sew it at the bottom in place. Okay. And with the starch, it'll give that definition, keeps it nice and taut. Okay, so we'll go back now, and I'm going to do 1/8 of an inch or close within the seam allowance all the way round the pocket, 3 sides of the pocket. Okay, back over here, mate. So, anything there? Back to the middle. Oh. We're having proper problems with our email, just so that you know, and sometimes you lot are ending up in our spam, and that goes both ways. We found that we're ending up in our spam as well. So please make sure to check your spam if you're expecting an email or anything like that off us, because we might be sat in there having a party. I mean, I never check my spam, but in the last week, oh, took the pin out there, set. In the last week, I've had to go in, you know, about twice a day, just to make sure that nothing that you lot have sent, or anybody else has sent, is sitting in there. So, we're nearly finished. Nearly finished. I've no idea what we're going to do next week. Okay, no. Press that one first. Okay, so you've got that nice bit of what's it called? Flap. Tuck. You've got a nice tuck. There you go. Okay, so now all we need to do is the binding. So, where have you put my binding? There it is. Okay, so over to the ironing board. I'm going to show you again how we do. I feel a bit cruel. I left one of the bears. You know, I did the bears earlier on this week. This week or last week, Al? Did the bears. Last week. I've left one on Sarah's machine and it feels a bit cruel stabbing it. Right, so for binding, we fold it in half lengthways, okay, like that, and iron it. I don't know what Sarah's been doing, but there's bits of thread everywhere. Fold it in half like this. Now with this binding, again, it's not one of those projects that needs to be, if you're doing it for yourself, it doesn't have to be pristine. Sorry, am I too close to me now?
No, you're good.
You don't need it to be pristine. So I actually, as you can see, I've sewn it on at the same time. It would look much better if you do it where you sew it on the back and then sew it to the front, or vice versa, like you would a quilt. But we're going to do it this way for quickness, and I want to show you how I managed to get like a mitered folded type of corner. Okay, and I'm sure there's another way of doing it that you've all done. So any comments there? You have to keep asking him, because otherwise he goes to sleep.
A lot of them are being answered in the comments.
I see. So we're folding this in on either side, just like you do with the bias. I haven't cut this on the bias because it's straight edges.
Sonia said for this weekend, probably do all my prep work for the following weekend Zoom classes.
Oh, you're doing the applique, applique rag quilt.
Apparently that's why there's so many threads everywhere. Applique.
Yes. They're so cute. I've thought about, I want to be on that class. I'm loving the drawings coming out of this house at the moment. So I'm going to go along like this. There we go. So we now have a bit of bias. Okay, so back over here. Now, like you do with a quilt, you want to start halfway down, but also give yourself a little bit of length to play with. Okay, and I'm just going to sandwich this in between, and then you pick a point that you're going to sew. Now really I want to sew as close to the edge as I can, because it's the same width front and back. You know that you should catch the back in as well. Now we're going to move the needle over again, and I'm going to line it up on there, and I'm going to increase the stitch, see if that will look, get it so it's tidy like. So I'm going to sew all the way down to the bottom, and stop about 1/4 inch away from the bottom. Okay. Now there are many ways to do bindings, and you know most of them. Okay, a little back stitch there. So do the binding that suits you, I would say. Right, with this, I found that if I just folded it straight round like that, okay, you get the fold just automatically comes with it. Okay, so you can push it down so it becomes more of a mitre than I did last night. As you push it in, see that? That will become like a mitre, like you would on your quilts. Now I've done this for a quilt, I think, and it worked quite well. Sorry, I'm going to keep moving it around. So what we want to do is position our needle. There we go. Make sure everything is flat and straight on the bottom. And we're going to go along here. I should have done a back stitch there. I'll sew that one in, I promise. So I'm keeping an eye on where the fabric is going. This is why we don't pin our bindings down, because it tends to push it along as well. So we're going to back stitch there. That. So once again, you bend it around the corner and position it, fold it over, and then you tuck these further in so that you get that proper mitered corner. Okay.
Can you let everyone know that the new Sunshine Soul are now on the website?
Oh, the new Moody Bloom one, the one that's called Sunshine Soul, it's just lush, is now on the website and ready for purchase. Don't forget, we're away now Friday and Monday, so anything that you order after Alex has been to the post office will be Monday. Okay, so you just need to be aware that if you want something for the weekend, sir, you need to organise that now this minute. So really all you do then is just carry it around and carry on sewing around. I like liking this bigger stitch. It seems to go through easier. So So I mean, you can pin this or clip it in place, but like I say, it tends to push the fabric along with it. So you might, if you've pinned it too far ahead, you find that it'll just buckle up. Buckle up, sunshine. Okay, so nearly there, kids. Anything else there, Al? Stop me wittering to myself.
Jean said Tuesday, shops closed on Monday.
Yes. Yes. I'll be in a drunken stupor by then. I'll be on orange juice. Okay. I say this, that I'm, you know, we're going to spend the time drunk. I don't drink that much anymore. I don't mind the drinking. It's the hangover I can't cope with. I'm really bad at hangovers. Okay. So last corner. And then I'll show you how one way of putting them, the easy way of putting these together. So we're going to go round the corner once more, tuck it into there, and I'm just going to sew it just a little bit down, just to hold the corner. Okay, I don't want to go all the way down, I just want to make the corner secure. And down there. See, it's quite close on that side there. Oh, just said you were going to stop, Sarah, stop. Okay. Right. So we're going to fold this corner, this outside one. I'm going to trim it off a little bit because you don't want too much. We're going to fold over. That's not cut very straight, was it, Sarah Jane? Do like table where you cut the legs off, isn't it? You have to keep cutting them because they get too short. Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave that one. I'm going to tuck this around like that. You'll see that. What you want to do is tuck this bit in. Bring that in a little bit. I don't normally do it like this, but I got myself into a proper little pickle yesterday the other way. You're just going to tuck that so that it goes over it. Make sure that this one is all tucked in. I think I ironed out the creases. Okay, so we want to bring that down a little bit like that. Okay, so you're going to tuck it in like that and then just begin sewing again, and you're going to sew all the way down here. Now you can see that I obviously wasn't very central with my circle. Where's my bit? There it is. Oh, there we go. So last little bit.
Carol says, late again, I can't work out what's being made.
Haha! It's one of those moment, sir. Can you see what it is yet? Right. I show you now, Carol. We're nearly finished. It's one of those highly useful things that you never knew you needed. Okay. Oh. Nearly took the needle with me. Okay. So there we have another one of them. So this one here where I forgot to do the back stitch, I will go in and sew that in. And this will fit in there. Okay. So once I've tidied up all the stitches, there's your hanger. Okay, so you can hang that now over a charger plug, and then if you want to make sure that the charger goes with you everywhere, Sarah, you can put a button at the bottom there, and then that would fold over and anything that's in the pocket will stay in there. Now, I mean, you could put this by the side of a hotel bed or your bed. It's probably big enough for you to put a bottle of water. It's a bit saggy for a bottle of water, or you put your glasses in it. If you're one of these ones that can't see anything, fly. Must be the cat in me. Fly. Yeah, you could put your glasses by the side of your bed if you've got a plug in there. You know where they are then. Sort of across the thing. Right, that's it. That's 2 of those. I'm going to put them in my bags now with my chargers. I'm going to find some chargers and put those in. I hope that some of you might find that quite useful. This is the old Moody Blooms, which we still have some in. Oh, we don't have this one in stock. We have others. But the new something soulful, no, silent soul,
Something.
Was it? Something soul. It's beautiful. So if you like a Moody Bloom, have a check out of that. Check your job lots, check your clearance. The mystery boxes are still on, okay, but they will come off now later, mainly because I'm fed up of cutting the material. So get them on before I get back to the shop. And remember, these are $35.99. That's me. This is Sarah and Alex signing out, and I'll see you next week. Bye.